E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial, or simply E.T., is a 1982 American science fiction film produced and directed by Steven Spielberg and written by Melissa Matheson. It tells the story of Elliot, a boy who befriends an extraterrestrial dubbed E.T., who is left behind on Earth. Along with his friends and family, Elliot must find a way to help E.T. return home while avoiding the government. The film stars Dee Wallace, Henry Thomas, Peter Coyote, Robert McNaughton, and Drew Barrymore. The film's concept was based on an imaginary friend that Spielberg created after his parents' divorce. In 1980, Spielberg met Matheson and developed a new story from the unrealized Project Night Skies. In less than 2 months, Matheson wrote the first draft of the script, titled E.T. and Me, which went through 2 rewrites. The project was rejected by Columbia Pictures, who doubted its commercial potential. Universal Pictures eventually purchased the script for $1 million. Filming took place from September to December 1981 on a budget of $10.5 million. Unlike most films, E.T. was shot in rough chronological order to facilitate convincing emotional performances from the young cast. The animatronics for the film were designed by Carlo Rambaldi. E.T. premiered as the closing film of the Cannes Film Festival on May 26, 1982, and was released in the United States on June 11, 1982. The film was an immediate blockbuster, surpassing Star Wars to become the highest-grossing film of all time, a record it held for 11 years until Spielberg's own Jurassic Park surpassed it in 1993. E.T. was widely acclaimed by critics and is regarded as one of the greatest films of all time. It received 9 nominations at the 55th Academy Awards, winning Best Original Score, Best Visual Effects, Best Sound, and Best Sound Editing, and also won 5 Saturn Awards and 2 Golden Globe Awards. The film was re-released in 1985 and again in 2002 to celebrate its 20th anniversary, with altered shots, visual effects, and additional scenes. An IMAX re-release is scheduled for August 12, 2022. To celebrate its 40th anniversary, in 1994, the film was added to the United States National Film Registry of the Library of Congress, which deemed it culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Alien botanists secretly visit Earth at night to gather specimens in a California forest. One of them separates from the group, fascinated by the distant city lights, but U.S. government vehicles arrive and chase the startled creature. The other aliens depart, abandoning him on Earth. In a nearby neighborhood in the San Fernando Valley, 10-year-old Elliot Taylor's suspicions are aroused when he pitches a baseball into a tool shed, and the ball is thrown back. Later that night, Elliot returns with a flashlight, discovering the creature among the cornstalks. He shrieks and flees the scene. Despite his family's disbelief, Elliot leaves a trail of candy to lure the alien into his house. Before bed, he realizes the alien is imitating his movements. The next morning, Elliot feigns sickness to stay home from school and play with him. He can feel the alien's thoughts and emotions, shown when the alien accidentally opens an umbrella, startling him and simultaneously Elliot several rooms away. Later that day, Elliot introduces his older brother Michael and 7-year-old sister Gertie to the alien, deciding to keep him hidden from their mother, Mary. When the children ask the alien about his origins, he shows them by levitating several balls, representing his planetary system, and demonstrating his powers by reviving dead chrysanthemums. He demonstrates his healing power through his glowing fingertip on a minor cut on Elliot's finger. At school the next day, Elliot begins to experience a much stronger empathic connection with the alien, including exhibiting signs of intoxication, because the alien is at Elliot's home. drinking beer, and watching television, and freeing the frogs in his biology class. As the alien watches John Wayne kiss Maureen O'Hara in The Quiet Man on television, Elliot kisses a girl he likes similarly and is sent to the principal's office. The alien dubs himself E.T., reading a comic strip where Buck Rogers, stranded, calls for help by building a makeshift communication device, and is inspired to try it himself. E.T. gets Elliot's help to build a device to phone home by using a speak and spell. Michael notices that E.T.'s health is declining and that Elliot is referring to himself as we. Throughout this, the boys are unaware that E.T. is being tracked by government agents and all three of them are being spied on. On Halloween night, Michael and Elliot dress E.T. as a ghost to sneak him out. Elliot and E.T. head through the forest, which they successfully call home. The next day, Elliot wakes up in the field, finding E.T. gone. Elliot returns home to his worried family. Michael discovers E.T. dying next to a culvert and takes him home to an also dying Elliot. Mary becomes horrified upon discovering her son's illness and the dying alien, just as a group of government agents dressed in biohazard suits led by Keyes invades the house. Scientists set up a lab at the house, asking Michael, Mary, and Gertie what they know about E.T. while the scientists are treating Elliot and E.T. The mental connection between Elliot and E.T. disappears. E.T. appears to die while Elliot recovers. Elliot is carried away, screaming that the doctors are killing E.T. as they try to revive him. When the doctors pronounce E.T. dead, Michael discovers that the chrysanthemums that E.T. previously revived are dying again. As Elliot recovers, the scientists first return him to his family, but then Keyes leaves him alone with E.T. Elliot says a tearful goodbye, telling E.T. that he loves him before closing the case. E.T.'s heart light begins to glow, and Elliot notices that the chrysanthemum is once again coming back to life and opens the case. E.T. reanimates and tells Elliot that his people are returning. Elliot and Michael steal the van that E.T. had been loaded into and a chase ensues, with Michael's friends joining them on bicycles. Evading the authorities. Suddenly facing a police roadblock, E.T. helps them escape by using his telekinesis to lift them into the air and towards the forest as he had done for Elliot before. Standing near the spaceship, E.T.'s heart glows as he prepares to return home, while Mary, Gertie, and Keyes show up. E.T. says goodbye to Michael and Gertie, as she presents him with the flower he had revived. Before boarding the spaceship, he embraces Elliot and tells him, "I'll be right here," pointing his glowing finger to Elliot's forehead. He picks up the chrysanthemum and boards the spaceship. As the others watch it take off, the spaceship leaves a rainbow in the sky. Spielberg drew the story of the film from his parents' divorce. Gary Arnold of The Washington Post called it, essentially a spiritual autobiography. A portrait of the filmmaker is a typical suburban kid set apart by an uncommonly fervent, mystical imagination. References to Spielberg's childhood occur throughout. Elliot fakes illness by holding a thermometer to the bulb in his lamp while covering his face with a heating pad, a trick frequently employed by the young Spielberg. Michael picking on Elliot echoes Spielberg's teasing of his younger sisters. And Michael's evolution from tormentor to protector reflects how Spielberg had to take care of his sisters after their father left.